the dojo where strength met grace. A soft breath, then slowly. Robert Mitchell had driven past the Riverside Martial Arts Academy 100 times. Each evening, through those wide windows, he'd catch glimpses of students in crisp white uniforms, moving with a precision he once knew. Before the injury, before everything changed. Pause. He was 53 now, a single father to Emma, his 12-year-old daughter who still believed her dad hung the moon, even if he couldn't quite reach it anymore. 22 years in the Army had given him discipline, purpose, a straight spine. The roadside bomb in his final deployment had taken his right leg below the knee and, for a while, his sense of who he was. Gentle transition. On a Tuesday evening in October, when the maple leaves were turning that particular shade of amber that reminds you of everything you've ever lost and found again, Emma tugged his sleeve. "Dad," she said, her voice soft but insistent, "could we just go in, just to look?" The academy was run by twin sisters, both in their early 40s, Jennifer and Catherine Walsh, former corporate executives who'd walked away from corner offices to open a dojo. They'd earned their black belts together, testing on the same day 15 years ago. People in town spoke of them with a certain reverence, not for their success, but for their kindness. A moment of quiet. The lobby smelled of cedar and hard work. Respectful sweat, Robert's old drill sergeant would have called it. Catherine was at the front desk, her dark hair pulled back simply, her eyes warm behind reading glasses. "Good evening," she said, and something in her voice made Robert's shoulders relax without him meaning them to. "I'm Catherine. How can we help you?" Emma spoke before Robert could. "My dad used to do martial arts. In the Army. I thought maybe he could again?" Pause for emotional weight. Catherine's expression didn't change to pity, and Robert loved her a little for that. She simply nodded, as if Emma had said the most natural thing in the world. "Let me get my sister," she said. Slow, steady. Jennifer emerged from the training floor, identical to Catherine, but for a small scar above her left eyebrow. The twins stood together and Robert felt suddenly exposed, standing there with his prosthetic leg visible below his jeans, his daughter's hand in his. "We were just about to close up," Jennifer said. "But Catherine and I usually spar for a bit after hours. Would you like to join us? Just like contact. Just to see how it feels?" Robert started to decline. Started to list all the reasons why he couldn't, why he shouldn't. But Emma squeezed his hand, and he found himself nodding instead, gentle pacing. They gave him time to change, to wrap his hands, to remember the rituals. The uniform fit differently now, his body changed by years and injury and the quieter battles of single parenthood. But when he stepped onto that mat, something ancient and true woke up inside him. Catherine moved first, her stance perfect but not showy. She came at him slowly, respectfully, giving him time to remember, to adjust. Robert's muscle memory surprised him. His hands knew what to do even if his balance wavered. Jennifer joined in, the three of them moving in a careful dance. A breath. And then Robert stumbled. His prosthetic caught wrong, and he went down hard on one knee. Shame flooded through him, hot and familiar. But the twins didn't rush to help him up. They simply knelt down beside him, one on each side. "You know what we learned," Catherine said quietly, "when we left our corporate jobs?" Robert shook his head. "That falling down doesn't mean you failed," Jennifer continued. "It means you showed up. You were brave enough to step onto the mat." Emotional warmth entering the voice. Catherine smiled then, and it was like sunrise. "We've both been knocked down plenty. Jennifer tore her ACL 2 years ago. Thought she'd never spar again, but here we are." "The strength isn't in never falling," Jennifer added. "It's in getting back up. And sometimes it's in letting people kneel beside you while you figure out how." A moment for listeners to absorb. Robert felt his throat tighten. Emma was watching from the observation area, her face pressed to the glass, and she wasn't crying. She was smiling. So proud of her father for trying, not for being perfect. The twins stood then and offered him their hands. Not pulling him up, just there, steady, present. Robert took their hands and rose. They sparred for another 20 minutes. Robert fell twice more, and each time it hurt less. Not physically, the mat was still hard, but in his chest, where shame had lived for so long, something was loosening. Slow, reflective. When they finally bowed to end the session, Jennifer spoke. "You're welcome here any time, Robert. No charge for veterans. And Emma, too, if she wants to learn." Catherine nodded. "We're all just trying to find our balance. Might as well do it together." Pause. As Robert and Emma drove home that evening past the darkened storefronts of their small town, Emma said, "Dad, you looked really strong in there." Robert glanced at his daughter, this miracle of a human he'd somehow helped create. "I felt strong, sweetheart, for the first time in a long time." "Because you won?" she asked. "No," he said, pulling into their driveway, the porch light glowing like a beacon. "Because I showed up. And because when I fell, there were good people willing to kneel down beside me." Gentle, warm conclusion. Emma nodded, wise beyond her years, the way children of veterans often are. "That's what strength looks like, isn't it?" Robert smiled. "Yeah, baby, I think it is." A final soft breath. And somewhere in the evening, in a dojo that smelled of cedar and possibility, two sisters turned off the lights and locked the door, knowing they'd helped someone remember that kindness isn't weakness, and grace isn't just for those who never fall. It's for all of us, especially those brave enough to get back up. The end.